Hello. So, as you might guess from the title, this is an overview slash review of my 2020 Nissan Leaf. For those of you who do not know, the Nissan Leaf is an all-electric car, not like other ones that are a hybrid. This one's pure electric, not a single bit of gas gets put into this, no oil. And I decided to get this car around August, so I've had it, let's see, August, September, October, November, December, 3 months ago. 3 months ago. And these are kind of my thoughts on it. So first of all, in this, I'll display over here a picture of my previous car, which was a red Nissan Sentra SV. Now, this one is also an SV. Main reasons why I choose the SV over the S is I need a few features. Heated seats, because where I live, as you can tell by the hoodie, and boy, if you were here, you can tell it's really cold, I need warmth, especially after my work. Sometimes I'm often sweaty and then you cool down because that's how sweat works. And just heated seats are nice. But the other feature that it has is the backup camera, which while this car has a great turning radius, parallel parking in it is really, really a lot easier when you have the backup cam, because while this car during my drives with it has a great, I would say, view of, I'm sure there's a technical term for whatever, you can see your wide field of vision, just still having that by the nature of its design, the backup cam's great. Now, I mentioned the Sentra because one of the things I found out from the salesperson about this car is it's also based on the Sentra wheelbase. And I really liked driving that car. I drove that car for 3 years. I drove it for, I believe it was about 50,000 miles. Could be wrong, but that's a good estimate of what I drove it for. So I knew that car so well, I drove it to work. And as my hoodie is, I am a member of IATC 919, and I'm a stagehand specializing in live sound. So I often have to drive to a lot of different places. And man, did I get to know that car well. My hope was to also get to know this car really well. I still know I'm getting to know it really well, but having the fact that it's based on the Sentra wheelbase, for me personally, has made it great, because when I drove it, I still got to get used to it, because an electric engine definitely performs a whole lot different than a gas engine. But just knowing that when I turn it feels right definitely helped in the segueing process. So if you look, I really like the color red. I'm a redhead. My favorite color for car would actually have been green. Unfortunately, when I went to the dealership, neither was there a red nor a green. I even asked my car salesman, I would like one in red, and because I'd done a few pre-test ones, I was like, hey, is there any way you could ship over one? I'm going to get it anyways. By the way, I also am leasing this vehicle, not buying it. But they didn't have it in red, or to get it in red was just such a challenge, so I was like, I'll take light blue. I just told them, don't give me white, because I live on a dirt road, as you can see from a dirt driveway, but also a dirt road. And I also didn't want black, because when COVID's finally over, I'm going to be moving to Las Vegas at some point. And a black car in Las Vegas is like a black car in Florida. It's just a really bad idea, because I used to live in Florida and had rode in black vehicles. It's not great. So I figured blue was the next best one, because their silver wasn't that great, and boy, the white even there showed up on color. So hence why I picked blue. Little fun thing about also the previous car I had, the Sentra, I gave it a little name. This is where I'm showing my nerd side. It was called Sarah's Victoria, because I figured it was red, matched her main outfit later in the series. This car I named after a while, it finally got the name Nero. One, because it matched Nero's color scheme, and to be more specific, Nero from Devil May Cry 5. Well, Nero's in 4, but I've been playing 5 again recently. But back to the point. Also, Nero, story-wise, uses a lot of electronic stuff, and I figure, it's an all-electric vehicle. Nero fits. So, now the part that I'm sure some of you gearheads might be really into, I'm going to now open the trunk and show you the engine. One thing also sometimes, here we go. Car manufacturers can't agree on a universal way to find the lever for the trunk. Some have it here. I think the Sentra had it over here. And that moment where you forget where the and again, can't agree on a universal place to put this. So, here's this shot, which I will now get behind the camera and zoom in on. Now, it doesn't seem all that impressive when you think about it compared to an actual gas motor, and I'll admit that. But there's one thing I really, 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 really like about this. How quiet it is. So next, we are going to go into the interior of this vehicle. With this car, it's very quiet. Now obviously it's off. Every single car off is quiet. But now I'm going to start the car. Now I'm taking a look at the audio level on this, and when I'm not talking, this is going to be the car. Now, I can also hear, if it's even coming up, the AC, so I'm going to turn this off. And the only other sound you heard was the rear windshield wiper going off, which is, I don't think something I had on my Sentra. Really didn't need it, because I think it was such an angle. This one, as you'll see in the rear shot, when I take that, it's a lot more angled, so you kind of need that. So literally, as I'm talking to you right now, my car is on. So I'm going to move forward, and you'll hear it move. And now, backing up. Now, there's a reason why that sound like a train, that's what I think it sounds like, a train. The reason is it's so quiet. They have to make noise because if you're backing up, someone can hear you. It's weird, that's how quiet it is. So now, one of the things I'm going to start with, a few things I don't like about this vehicle. This right here is the fob. I forget what it stands for, but it allows you to remote. It actually doesn't allow, that's my biggest problem, is it doesn't let you remote start. A fob, or phobe, I forget however it's said, is, it's lets you start the car without needing a key to turn the ignition, which I'll admit, there's a small part of me that misses that. Though my Sentra also had the same exact thing, so I kind of got used to it. It's just a little thing. But for the amount I'm paying, which I'm not going to disclose, it isn't a cheap car, I don't have remote start. There's an app, but the challenge with the app is you have to have self-service in order for it to work. And I live in an area with no cell service, so the remote start's kind of pointless here. And especially when winters come, I'm still going to have to come out and start my vehicle, which I'm like, why am I paying this price yet having to go out to start it? And the app sometimes works. It recently, when I've tried it, when I've been in an area with cell service, it does work. But so much got done right with this car that the things that are done wrong, just kind of like, was no one thinking on this? Because my mother's car, she has a Nissan Maxima, and she has kind of the higher end version, but that has remote start. So I don't know why this. And I even asked them, like, maybe I've not done the research. Maybe in the top, like, premium version of this car, you do get that remote start capability. But for the SV, I feel like that's something you should probably get for a car like this. Next, the real interior. So we are now in the vehicle. Well, I've been in the vehicle, but now you as the viewer get to be in the vehicle with me. So, nice amount of headspace for someone my height, which I am 5'11", so being in a car that allows that. And steering wheel, it's really nice. It's heated. Oh, I love a heated steering wheel. Oh my goodness. In a cold area is great. So, as you can see behind me, it has, obviously because it's a hatchback, I think it's a hatchback, or mid-size sedan, whatever it wants to be categorized as, decent seats, and we'll go to the trunk later, but I've run back there while someone else, my mother, has driven, and it's really good. I think it's comfortable back there. Nice, plenty of room for passenger seats. Again, this was not really planned to be a road trip car, but there we go. So, now, it's weird that the expletive bar, you got one here, but you also got one for the passenger. So, other features of this car. Now, no Bluetooth device connected. I can easily, and I just have none of my Bluetooth devices are near or set the Bluetooth on. One thing I liked, because I did not like how the current Sentra revision is, it makes it a whole lot more digital. I'm all for digital stuff, but it just wasn't easy to navigate. While this, again, I know you're pressing buttons to do circuits, but there's something about having a physical button to press that just I like. So, I like that part of it. Good defrost. Can turn this on. Now it's on, and now you can hear it, and now the steering wheel also turns on, and there's no real way to make this quiet. That's just the nature of stuff like that. But pretty good heating system. This is the steering wheel. One of those nice adjustable. It goes up and down, goes in and out, which when more than one person drives this vehicle is very nice. I do like the stitching, kind of a nice little detail of a different color, which in the factory, let's be honest, is just a quick cut switch and then switch back, but I like it. I also like how the steering wheel is. The new Sentra steering wheel just did not gel with me. Well, this one does. And I like it how there's just, for the most part, there's everything I need is on here. You know, the volume, navigation, forward and backwards, the back button, cruise control, which is a little weird to kind of set. And what I don't like about the cruise control is what always defaults, and I'll turn it on here, is the car ahead feature. Which is a great feature. I will totally admit it's a great feature that I do like. But there are times, especially like when it's just me on the road, I'm like, well, why is it there? There's no way to turn it off. And what you just heard there is another little feature I do like. One of these. So that way, in those times when the sun's there, you can do it that way. Obviously, the fasten seatbelt sign is on because I don't have it on, which I always do if I am driving. So, it's a little weird not seeing in this display, not seeing that other one with the revs, or I forget the technical term, where all you see is the speed. That took a little bit of getting used to for me, but I've gotten used to that. Now the range is 201 miles on a full charge in eco mode, and if I turn eco mode off, so eco mode is on. Now I lose about 10 miles. Now 200 miles, when you think about it, is a pretty nice range. I think the only cars that get anywhere more than that is obviously the Tesla, which I don't make that kind of money yet. I hope to one day. 200 miles is a neat range that I can make it easily there and back. But most of the places I did look into when I was working would at least have either a trickle charge or speed charge, or some places I like, especially when I would work in Burlington, coming back through Waterbury, Ben & Jerry's has a level 3 charge, which gets it from gives it a good charge for half an hour, and you can usually make it all the way more. Now, because I'm not doing any work, because I can't, consistently, it's still a nice thing when I visit people who are in Burlington, which I'm not doing because at this time there's another lockdown. But it's still useful to have there. But just knowing that range, I could have easily made it back without the charge. But I like having to rest sometimes halfway through my drives, especially when they've gone more than an hour. So, what else we got here? Beyond, there's the glove box. Every car has that. Fence, But one thing I really like, this is a minor thing that many cars have that I don't know, I kind of like. One of these. It's where you can put your sunglasses. Yeah, it's a little thing. But let me tell you, when you've been in a car that didn't have them, and then they do. I remember my grandmother's car, she had a Mercedes. This is like late 90s, early 2000s. Mercedes, top-of-the-line car at the time. They didn't have one of these. Whoever invented that or thought the idea, I'm like, hey, cool on you. So, the next part, the entertainment system, which I briefly mentioned over, but I think it needs going over again. One of the things that I do and don't like is it has Android Auto. I'm not even going to show it. I'm just going to tell about it. Is the Android Auto thing, sometimes it recognizes the music on my phone, sometimes it doesn't, and the navigation seems a little bit weird where it'll do recent, but even if I'm stopped, I understand when you're driving, it should disable certain bits and you're not distracted, but if I'm parked on the side of the road, no one's around, I can't navigate by artists on the Android Auto. I have to go into the wireless one, which is weird because if I then plug in my phone to keep it charged, Android Auto activates. Now, I'm sure if I disabled Android Auto, but I like some of the integration it has. So I feel the technology that's been around for years, but still needs. And the motorcycle person, hey, I'm driving. I know you're doing a video, so man, side rant. I feel like motorcycles should have some kind of volume restrictions or something, because that's the real noise pollution and annoyance, especially for people who are making videos. I'm sure the amount of videos that have had to end because of motorcycles is ridiculous. So, we're now going to go to the back of the car. But first, I'm going to say one of the things I don't like about this car, and we'll transition there to the back and the trunk. See what's on here? You have this, which you press for the gas. I think this is to tell you your timer if you plug in the car. This is for steering assist, and this is the heated steering wheel, which I currently have on right now. But here's the thing. I've looked through. There is no button to open it. My Sentra, almost every car in existence that I know of, has a button or lever that you can open your back trunk. Yet this doesn't. And I feel like that's just one of those weird things that the car manufacturers just didn't think. It goes into first world problems. But it's one of those things, it's if it hadn't existed before, I'd be fine with it. But if people and car manufacturers have done this already, can't you just do it again? And if you look at that, and I'll show it again, it's not because they're missing it. I don't know what those two more could be, so what else could it be it. Now, quick bit, windows, you can adjust left or right, windows up and down, those are good. The one automatic for the driver, which is fine because I mostly am the one driving, so I don't really need to do that. It's a minor feature, but those work. I do like, and a little bit of the window, so what you see. So you can definitely see around it. And now, to the next part of the car. We are now going to take a look at the rear of the car. As mentioned before, one of the things I do not like about this car, and I feel Nissan really messed up on, was that I can't remote open it. And it's not the remote part, it's that there isn't a part in the car. Like, we've all been in that scenario where it's like, hey man, I need to get something in the trunk. Okay, and you press it while you're driving. Now you gotta get out. Now obviously, this is all you need to do to open it. That. Which isn't a big problem. But it's the fact that I can't do it in there that when it's already existed in cars before. Now, there's plenty of space in here. As you can see, I have a packing blanket because you never know when you just need to put stuff in here, and I've often had to carry stuff around. But plenty of space in there for it. I've even on Sundays, because I don't like really eating in the front of my car, I've done it from time to time, but I try to avoid it. I'll eat in the back here, and there's plenty of room for me to sit down. I even got pictures somewhere. I might even put one if I can find it. But plenty of space here. Doesn't have a spare tire, which is one of those little things that I'm like, okay, you can do all this stuff with the body because it's an electric car and it's a front-wheel drive vehicle, but can't do a spare tire, huh? Who knows? Would love to maybe interview the design team one day, but I doubt I ever will. But hey, I'm not saying it won't happen. So that's my bit on this. Finally, the last part about an electric car is obviously you have to charge it. Now there's charging stations, and I have a charger. When you get this car, at least most of the time, because it was a little unclear on the website when you first get it. Some of them, like, you have to buy it, but at least the model and package I have, which I also have the all-weather package, which kind of is needed up here, you'll get the charger. Which, here it is. This goes into the front of the car. This goes into power. We luckily have a little hole that got drilled before we got the house that had this out here. Now, there is a disadvantage to this. It is a level 1, so it takes a long time to charge. But also, it doesn't add much to your bill. In fact, the amount of money I would have spent to fill up my Sentra, I'm spending half that, even less, to charge it. Even like the bill for the electric bill is like only $6 a month more. Now, obviously, I've had to pay some of that, and like when I get it charged elsewhere. But at the end of the day, you're spending a whole lot less, and you're also not kicking Mother Nature in the teeth. And you're also not supporting oil barons and all of that. So, I still think it's worth it.